welcome to my channel. This is Dosha with DoshaDreamsTarot, and this is a reading for whoever needs to hear it. But I'm going to do something a little different today, something that I've actually never really done. I've done this before in my spare time, in my own personal free time, but I've never done this on camera for an audience. Okay, so what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to ask Spirit some questions about some ongoing current events and situations that affect all of us. So it is a collective reading, but we're actually going to be asking Spirit some questions about some current circumstances, right? So first one that I want to talk about, and I just want to actually say a couple things about it as well, just my own personal opinion. This isn't necessarily what Spirit is channeling. Sun card. So the first thing I want to talk about, y'all, I'm on the East Coast over here in the Southeast, and the gasoline shortages have hit us really hard. There's actually, most gas stations don't have gasoline right now, okay? I have friends who went around to 10 different gas stations just looking for gas, ended up just running themselves damn near empty trying to get gas. Okay, so I am lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to stay home right now. And so I'm trying to preserve my energy and my gas, you know, as long as I can. I don't know how long this is going to go on for. Right. So with that being said, couple things real quick, because I know some of y'all out there might be impacted by this right now, and it's scary, and I know there's some folks who can't get to work. There's folks who are stranded, who are traveling, and now they can't get back, you know, to where they're trying to return home to, right? There's a lot of complications that are coming along with this gasoline shortage, and and it's a lot more than just spiked prices, right? Because if there's just no gasoline available at all, then we can very quickly see how reliant we are on fossil fuels, right? Which we already know this, but when we see it up close and personal, and we see how our entire survival depends on whether or not we have fossil fuels, that should hopefully get some wheels turning for folks. And hopefully folks who are in, you know, the energy industry, right? And this is why I just wanted to say a couple things about it before I pull some cards on the situation, because we're going to look into it and we're going to see if Spirit has any messages coming through that we need to, you know, pay attention to when it comes to this specific situation. But one of the things I wanted to say, guys, is that, you know, our reliance on fossil fuels can't, it's not going to last forever. Basically, we can't be reliant on fossil fuels forever, even if we wanted to, right? Because it is a finite resource. And, you know, we know this. Okay, now, people, I feel like, get very defensive of that concept. We got the Devil card coming out. People get very defensive of the idea of us moving away from fossil fuels, because maybe you work in the industry, you make more money working on the oil fields than you ever have in your life doing anything else, right? It's what you know, it's your career, you know what I mean? It's your industry, okay? Or you may be, you know, just of the opinion that if we switch to renewable energy, that there's going to be its own host of environmental problems, and you're not wrong, okay? Eight of Cups. This talks about moving on from something that once served you very well, right? And it's difficult to walk away from it, okay? That, I feel like, is coming out for a reason. So basically, guys, what I'm saying is that, you know, we are not the only country to experience a gasoline shortage, okay? In fact, we're one of the few countries that rarely experiences a gasoline shortage. If you've ever been to some place like Nepal, or if you do pay attention to world news, if that's just something that you are aware of, you know that Nepal frequently experiences gasoline shortages, and they are directly landlocked in between China and India, which are one of the largest countries in that region, right? You have Nepal and you have, Tibet, right? And then you've got China and India. So they are major consumers of fossil fuels for production, for transportation, etc. Right? They're very highly populated countries, China and India. So Nepal, because of pipeline issues, or whether it's because of political turmoil or whatever it is, will frequently experience gasoline shortages. And their electricity will go out often, guys. They experience drought and water, like running water issues because of landslides. Like, y'all, I'm just saying, we are very blessed in the United States. We are very blessed. And we very rarely have to deal with issues like this. It's usually, forest fires or earthquakes, right? Or storms that we really have to deal with here. But we recover quickly, and we have a lot of resources. And even though some of y'all might be thinking back to Hurricane Katrina and think to yourself, well, that didn't go very well. No, it absolutely did not. There was not enough assistance provided to the people, who needed it in Louisiana. So, we know that there is a lot of injustice in the world, okay? And there's a lot of imbalance when it comes to who receives assistance, who receives help, right? So most of us out here, just on our everyday grind, right? We're not going to get any help. You know what I mean? But what do you think is going to happen to the people who own the Colonial Pipeline? You know what I mean? Really, though, because they were a victim of a cyber attack, right? I mean, that's the theory, right? So what do you think is going to happen? Sorry, guys, my phone's going off. I have to keep it on. I usually put it on Do Not Disturb, but because I have an important phone call coming in, hopefully today, I've got to keep it where I can answer it. And then I'll just pause the video and finish it up later. But anyway, guys, I'm not trying to sit here and go on this rant about our energy infrastructure, but I kind of am, because basically what I'm saying is that when it comes to major changes and upheaval or obstacles, difficulties, challenges in that are out of our control, you know what I mean? We definitely look for people to blame, and we look for some type of understanding or assistance from, the people around us in order to help us through these challenges, right? And so this comes at the exact same time, guys, as a lot of people's unemployment is kind of hanging in the balance, right? A determination has not yet been made for a lot of people. A lot of people's benefits are hanging in the balance right now, guys. And regardless of how you feel about it, there are many circumstances and people in certain situations where these benefits are absolutely necessary, and so it's not just about whether or not you want to work, if you're being lazy. It's not about that. And what it really isn't about either, guys, it's really not about people just being unmotivated. Guys, I just want to say also, and I know I'm talking about some pretty intense stuff here on tarot, and we're going to get into these cards because they do play into what we're talking about here, which is why I feel like I felt compelled to talk about some important subjects right now while we're on, while I have the ability to do so, right? And I was feeling called to do it. So what I want to say is that the fact is that these benefits were guaranteed to the people who qualified. They were guaranteed until a certain date, and so when you put people's benefits on hold without warning, and then you start to see all these news articles of, oh, we're just going to end benefits completely, right? I'm just saying, guys, that's a highly inappropriate way for the situation to be dealt with. Whether or not we concluded, which personally I don't think one study can conclude, that the job shortages or that the unemployment rate, versus how many jobs are available, open positions, that the unemployment benefits are the reason why we don't have people going back to work. I'm saying I understand how it seems logical, guys, but if somebody could make better money by going back to work and it be like a job environment that doesn't compromise their health and safety, a job environment that makes it possible for them to still be able to afford childcare, or if people have medical issues that they have to take care of and they are at risk, higher risk for contracting COVID and being hospitalized due to that, then I'm just saying, guys, that people would be going back to work if all of those factors were accounted for. Like if they had health insurance, if they had benefits at work, you know what I mean? That, like, I don't think that most folks are able to really kind of conceptualize people's living situations and their, the factors that play into the decisions they make. Because guess what, guys? Those benefits were offered to the American people. People applied for them and they were approved for them, okay? So if you apply for benefits and you're approved for benefits and they begin and you are receiving them, I don't see how people should be, it's a stigma, guys. It's just a stigma about people who receive benefits from the government, and that they're considered lazy, that they are doing this because they would rather just sit back and get money for nothing and not work, yada yada, right? I'm not saying that there aren't people like that who exist, guys, but what I'm saying is that the help is available and was offered, and so I don't see how somebody is lazy or is a bad person for stepping forward and saying, yeah, like I am, you know what I mean? I am high risk and I'm nervous about getting COVID and dying from COVID and leaving my kids with nothing. You know what I mean? So if I'm able to receive benefits and be able to stay home and keep my kids safe too by homeschooling them or you know what I mean, providing their child care myself, whatever it is, it's a safer environment, a safer situation for me and my family. So I'm going to move forward with that decision. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Basically what I'm saying is that it's not easy, these decisions that people are having to make. And we're in a position now where benefits are on hold and we have no gasoline. So imagine for the folks who are like, okay, I'm going to have to go back to work. I haven't had benefits come in for over a month. You know what I mean? There's a lot of folks whose benefits who have been on hold for over a month now, and they're still in review. You can't get through the phone lines, you know what I mean, to talk to somebody. And it's a pretty dire situation for a lot of folks right now, because they're thinking to themselves, if I had known that my benefits were going to be cut off, like I said, it happened without warning for a lot of people. And that's part of the reason why you can't get through, because everyone's trying to call in and find out what's going on with their benefits, because it happened without warning. And they've put people in this position now where that they are a month behind on their income source because they've been waiting for these benefits to come in. And now they're being forced to go out and get work because they have no other choice, because they're basically being put on the back burner and told to just wait. And it's like, well, my rent won't wait, my bills won't wait, my kids' stomachs won't wait. Like, I have to feed my kids, I have to continue to live my life. And so if I have to go get work, and that's my only option for the folks who are able to go get work, okay? And you guys have to, I'm just saying, it would be to our best benefit to actually acknowledge that there are people who are severely impacted by this decision in a negative way, and they are not the types of people that we're really resentful of and frustrated with for being on unemployment, okay? These are the types of people who actually should be on unemployment right now because their situation makes sense, okay, with these benefits. So what I'm saying, guys, is that now there's people who are trying to go out and find work right now, and there's no gasoline for them to fill up their tank for them to go and get to a job. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, guys, we're in a rough position right now. A lot of people are. This isn't just a small percentage of people, guys. This is a lot of people. And so these are two separate issues, but when you put them together, they compound the issue of earning income and surviving, basically, guys. So what I'm saying is that these are pretty big, important collective issues that are happening right now at the same time. And what I wanted to do was ask Spirit for a little bit of guidance about what is going on, some advice on how to handle these situations. Whether or not you're severely impacted by them, you should know that there are other people who are, and that might be something that you need to be aware of, just to be able to read the room and be aware that, like, there's some people who maybe you're on social media, maybe you're posting about your life, and there's other people who are like, damn, like, that's really rubbing me the wrong way, dude, because I don't think you're acknowledging how many other people are in a completely different circumstance than you, where we're literally stranded, don't know how we're going to get to work, don't know how we're going to pay our bills. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people who are in that position right now, guys. And so it's important, I think, for us to talk about this sort of thing. And I'm a very unique tarot reader in that way. I know a lot of tarot readers will not talk about politics or the economy or stuff like that, because I get it. It's a touchy subject and people are, you know, very polarized at this time. But personally, guys, I don't think it does us any good to not talk about the issues. And also, I have a right to my opinion. I have a right to my compassion, okay? Because that's really what this comes down to for me, is I have a right to my compassion and my understanding of other people's situations, right? Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So it's not really like, for me, I'm just like, okay, you know, I'm in a difficult position, but what am I going to do? Am I going to, you know what I mean, sit around and worry about it and be like, woe is me, everything is crashing down? Some people have no other choice but to feel that way because they literally don't have other options. But for me, it's like, I'm able-bodied, like I can go and make other things happen. So it's like, I'm not going to stress too much, but I know there's other people out there who don't really have the choice to not stress about it, guys. Like, you know, I roll with the punches and I trust that spirit is always leading us down the path that we need to go down. But we as humans have free will and we have the ability to make decisions that impact others. Okay. So today I made the decision to sit down and record this video, and, I don't know, I might watch it back and see if I even want to post it, because I just, you know what I mean? Things like this, I think, are a little bit stressful. So anyway, we're going to get into these cards because these cards are really pretty clear to this situation. So first out, we have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is a card of waiting. And it's also a card of optimism, you know, but it's waiting for your ships to come in. And, you know, you've put in the effort now. You've done what you need to do. You've done what you could, okay? You sent the messenger bird out there, or you sent your assets overseas, and so you're waiting for those ships to come back, you know? And in this situation, this could be for those of you who, like I said, you've put the word out there to try and get work, right? You're waiting to hear back about work so that you can move forward with your life, right? If these benefits are cut off, then you're like, okay, you know, we'll do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Or you could be waiting to hear back about your benefits and you haven't heard anything back yet, right? Or you could be waiting to hear back about the pipeline. Is there going to be gasoline next week? Is there going to be gasoline this week? Like, you know what I mean? Am I going to be able to make it to work? You know what I mean? What if the buses stop running? You know what I mean? Like, these are very real life questions that people are asking themselves right now. So I'm just saying that this is kind of the current circumstance, I feel like, for, you know, for folks, for people right now. It's kind of like we're a little bit in limbo. Some folks are feeling really in limbo right now and like just not really sure what's going to happen. So you're just waiting. You're trying to be patient. You're trying to be optimistic. You're trying to roll with the punches, right? And go with the flow, okay? So that's, I feel like, kind of the current energy for a lot of folks. Next out, we have the Hierophant in reverse. So my first immediate impression is, first off, that we don't know everything about this situation right now. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. I know this is like nothing new, but I'm just saying, guys, like, this is why it's coming out, and we'll get to where we're going, okay? So we don't know what's going to happen yet. Kind of like the authority figures on the situation have not yet spoken, right? We haven't been given a determination. We haven't been given a decision. We don't have the knowledge or the information that we need in order to move forward, right? So a lot of us are feeling stuck in limbo because it's like, well, if I go and get work right now, you know what I mean? I probably won't get that paycheck for another 2 weeks, and will it even be enough to cover my bills? So would it be worth it for me to risk losing my benefits in order to go and get money now? But what if my benefits come in next week and everything is fine for now, right? You know what I mean? And I have a little more time to plan, right? Sorry again, guys. Like I said, I'm just trying to be available for a phone call. So anyway, you know what I'm saying is that there's just some things we don't know, and there's some determinations that have not yet been made, okay? So again, with this limbo feeling, we've got the Seven of Cups in reverse. So what this is talking to me, like this, how this card is speaking to me, is it's talking about there not being a lot of options right now for you, right? Or not feeling like there's a lot of options. And I will tell you guys, this is so interesting. So you see how this person, they have tattoos on their legs here, but what it is that this top half, it being flipped upside down, this actually looks like the land, right? And then this looks like the water. So it's almost like you've been plunged underwater is what I'm getting. And that you're trying to dream up and think of these solutions and options, but they're very dreamlike. And it's almost like you're forced to because you feel like you're drowning. Like, you know what I mean? And this is like really dramatic, guys, and I'm not trying to scare anybody like here, but if that's how you're feeling, then you may be able to relate to this card because you're like, this is just the way I'm reading it right now, because I typically, you know, I'll see something new every time. But what it looks like is it just looks like a line, like it just looks like you've been plunged underwater. Your feet are still on the land, so you're still being practical, but you're being forced to dream up other options in order to survive, basically, guys. Like, this is what I'm getting here. So, like I said, you've been forced into this situation. Like, it doesn't feel like you would have chosen this, this kind of, this path towards a different or a new different option. You know what I mean? I think you probably would have like to be able to make that decision like yourself within the time frame that you had thought you had, right? But this is like you're being forced into it, right? Because it's just, that's just what has happened. So okay, I'm getting a couple different feelings from this card. Three of Cups. So I'm getting a couple different feelings. First off, first and foremost, and like I said, all y'all are in different situations here, so we're gonna see what Spirit wants us to talk about after this. But what I'm getting, guys, is that first off, there's a lot of people who are not affected by this. There's a lot of people who are, you know what I mean, still having the time of their lives, still doing their thing, still, you know what I mean, able to go out, able to spend extra money, are, you know, playing and having fun and doing all this sort of thing, right? So we have to realize there's going to be a little bit of a clash and a dichotomy here in like kind of like just first off just income gap, you know, and also standard of living. And I'm just getting, guys, this is an issue that has persisted in our country and in our world for a very long time of, you know what I mean, people doing really well and people doing really poorly, and then being just like literally right next to each other. Like I traveled to South America some years back, and one of the things that astounded me the most was the income gap and the standard of living, the poverty that was just directly mixed in with some of the most opulent wealth that I've ever seen. And I have, you know, I mean, I've grew up and, you know, born and raised in the United States, right? But I've traveled all over the United States, and still going to Colombia, it was like, guys, there would be people living in shacks with just like a shanty fence in between them and a fucking mansion, a literal mansion, guys, like Pablo Escobar style, like fucking drug lord mansion. And I'm saying this, guys, because it was so astounding to me, but it was completely normal for everybody there. They were like, yeah, you know what I mean? In Colombia, there was a lot of people who got very wealthy during, you know, the 80s and 90s or whatever. And so a lot of these houses were built up. Sorry again, guys. That's so funny because that text message said sorry. Probably because I haven't responded and they thought that their joke didn't land well. Anyway, it's fine. But basically, guys, what I'm saying is that to us, we are used to this income gap, lifestyle gap situation, that we see it all the time. It's nothing new to us. But Spirit is asking for us to look at it, okay? Especially if you're in a position where that you just got knocked down a peg or two, okay? And you're now in this state of limbo and not knowing and trying to come up with other options because you're afraid you're just going to drown. You know what I mean? And so now it's kind of showing you, it's revealing to you on a deeper level. A lot of y'all, like, I'm just saying that anybody who is receiving benefits right now is probably somebody who has worked their ass off and has struggled and has gone without because, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying that's just the feeling I get for whoever this message is for. So it's kind of like, I don't think that a lot of you guys really need to see, like, what it's like to be without, and see other people doing well and have this sense of resentment or whatever. Because seriously, guys, like, that's a very real thing. And I don't think people know how emotionally toxic it is to be in this kind of dynamic, because it truly is. And it takes a lot of inner strength to not resent people and to forgive people and say, oh, well, they're just ignorant because they've never suffered, so they don't understand how unbecoming it is to sit there and, spend all this money and all these, like, things that don't matter, while there's literally somebody like 10 feet away from them who's like sitting on the street with a sign starving or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they don't see how inappropriate it is. It's incredibly inappropriate. And I think if we were a more, community-oriented society, then we would probably invest our extra into trying to raise the standard of living for everybody, right? But there is kind of like a, serve yourself, take care of yourself type thing in our country. And, I get it. You can't help everybody, and some people don't want to be helped, and whatever. It's a very intricate issue, but I'm just saying that basically this is going to become apparent to you because you're kind of being thrust into not having what it is that you need, you know what I mean, out of nowhere, and you weren't expecting it, and you got comfortable or whatever it was, right? So now you're going to be seeing this kind of contrast, but you're on the other side, right? So it's going to be like looking at people from the outside and being like, wow, you know what I mean? These people are just doing fine, and they're totally like just not aware. They're totally oblivious of how much other people are suffering and how much people are just really scared right now, don't know what they're going to do. You know what I mean? So at least this gasoline shortage thing, though, does impact a lot of people, and is impacting a lot of people right now at this time. So it's like, I think that is going to be kind of like a community. It's going to bring people together too, guys. Like, this is the other message. So that was the one message, okay, right? Looking from the outside in, feeling resentful of it, and people just being oblivious to what's going on around them. Okay, that is very true. But the other message that I'm getting from this card is it's really talking about how struggles and difficulties really do bring us together. And it's going to encourage people, I think, to really look within and to kind of find that sense of community that I was talking about, and really want to show up for people, and to, to connect and to help out. And the other advice, guys, is to just remember to relax. Remember to have a good time in whatever way you can, even if it's you just turning on your radio and listening to some music and dancing around the house and sweeping the floor, or whatever you can fucking do. Okay, that's free, and you don't have to go anywhere. Like, you can have a lot of fun by yourself too, guys. Like, I'm not even, I think you have to be just like a little bit crazy to have fun by yourself, but it's a beautiful thing that, I feel like can be cultivated, right? So anyway, but what I'm saying, guys, is that, remember to relax, remember to have fun. If you have opportunities to have fun and connect with other people, and it doesn't, break the bank, and it doesn't, put you in an unsafe situation, or you're capable of doing it, and you can let your hair down and have a good time, Spirit is recommending that you do that. You know what I mean? Also, to be able to get through this, because this is a point in time. This is just a moment in time. It's a bump in the road. It's just a difficulty that we have to face together, right? As a community, as a country, just as people, right? We have to face these difficulties together. And if COVID has taught us anything, guys, it's that we can do amazing things when we work together, but we can also be very destructive and very counterproductive when we fight each other. When we're already in dire situations, it's just literally not worth it, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I think that at the end of the day, it's like, what is really the most important thing for survival? You know what I mean? And these other issues we can break down and we can deal with in a more constructive way. It doesn't have to be life or death when there's other situations that literally are life and death. So we don't need to turn other things into such severe conflicts. You know what I mean? Like, that's what part of the thing that I think that Spirit is trying to talk about here, is that we have the ability to work together. We have the ability to be strong through these types of situations. Queen of Wands just came out in reverse over the top of the Three of Wands and the Hierophant. So, guys, this situation for a lot of people, it could be really rocking your confidence here. And Spirit is bringing this up because you have to realize that this may be bringing up things for you out of your subconscious also. Remember, guys, every challenge that we face truly is an opportunity for us to learn more about ourselves. It really is. It's an opportunity for us to grow and get stronger. And it really does bring out the best and the worst in people, you know? And it's your decision as to whether or not what it's going to bring out in you. You know what I mean? And it's also helping you realize where your strengths are and your weaknesses. But 10 of Cups. But Spirit is giving a really positive omen here. I'm getting that energy pretty strongly here. 7 of Cups in the upright. There are options for you. There are other options. They just may not be clear because you feel like you're upside down underwater, okay? But there are options for you. Spirit is really wanting to say, guys, that this is an opportunity for you to connect with other people, to get help from other people if you need it. This is also giving you an opportunity, like I said, to address your weaknesses and to see where you need to get stronger. Because, y'all, I'm telling you, there are so many things outside of our control. So many situations and things that resources that we're dependent on that we cannot control whether or not those are distributed to us. Okay? So, with that being said, guys, we are entering into a whole new era. Okay? Where this is going to be a very challenging time. And I'm telling you guys this because it's been a long time coming. This is nothing new for you guys, okay? We're starting to see it now in our everyday life, right? We're starting to see it more and more. This last year and a half has really been a big eye-opener, I think, for a lot of folks, especially folks in more developed countries, right? But basically what I'm saying, guys, is that we are at the end of a cycle, and we're also starting a new cycle, okay? And this is a cosmic cycle. This is beyond just my psychic intuitive nudges, okay? This is really more than that. It's happening on an astrological level. But I'm not an astronomer and I'm not an astrologist, so I'm not going to get into that. But things are moving really quickly here, guys, with the 8 of Wands. So what I want to say, guys, is that this is one of the most difficult times of a cycle change. A cycle change is one of the most difficult things for us to face in our lives, okay? And think about it like this. Think about birth and death, okay? Birth is an incredibly difficult experience for usually all parties involved, okay? For those where that it's a smooth experience, that is beautiful because that means you did, first off, you got lucky, but also there was a lot of preparation leading up to that. You know what I mean? That's the way that I, anyway, view an easy death and an easy birth, right? Is usually there's this cycle preparation. So this is true that when you resist cycles or you do not necessarily make wise decisions leading up to the cycle change, beginning and ending portion of the cycle, right? Because it's like a circle, but then you have that ending and connecting point, right? Which is where birth and death happen. This is the way that I view life, or at least the way that I view these cycles. So basically the way I see it is that the entire time around the ring, right, is a series of choices and experiences and, you know, and all those sort of thing, and that really do impact these two different portions of your cycle, right? So like I said, it's like, you know, everything that you're, you know, the person who carried you, right, during your gestation period, I don't know how else to say this, but that all of their choices led up to your birth, right? So then your birth is impacted by the cycle of that was going forward with, you know, the person who carried you. So then when you're born, it's like every decision that they make up until the point that you're kind of like free to fly on your own impacts you until that point. And then all the decisions you make, you know what I mean, from that point impact you till you die. And so basically what I'm saying is that your death can be a very smooth process depending on the way that you have lived your life, or it can be a very difficult, painful process, okay? And it's the same thing with birth, depending on the way that the pregnancy was kind of, and it's also life choices up until the point of pregnancy, guys. I'm just saying here, I'm not trying to get like on this pregnancy tangent, but what I'm really getting on, or this life and death tangent, what I'm getting at, guys, is that our choices collectively as a country, as a species on this planet, our choices collectively up until this point have a very big impact on the death and birth process of our nation, of our, like I said, our species. This is a pretty turbulent time because, like I said, old ways are dying out and new ways are being born. And the choices that we've made up until this point, in my opinion, guys, have not been very healthy or productive or made with a lot of foresight. These are decisions that we've made as a collective that have caused a lot of suffering throughout this cycle. You know what I mean? The cycle that's ending now. This has been a cycle of suffering, but it's also been a cycle of opulence and indulgence, right? And this contrast of, you know what I mean, certain groups of people having opulence and indulgence and wealth, and other people severely suffering. More often than not, guys, they're directly interlinked. It just started raining. More often than not, guys, they're directly interlinked, where that in order for people to have wealth like this and opulence, people have to suffer. It's not even like that the people are just suffering and some people are just doing really well, and that's just totally not related. It's like, guys, it's very related. It's very related. The only way for there to be wealth of this level is if there's poverty of the opposite. And that's just the reality of economics. It's the reality of labor. It's the reality of material production, guys. Like, I'm just saying, I'm talking about this because it's important, because these are the things that we see changing. We are going to see our modes of transportation change very quickly. We're already seeing technology change very quickly. I mean, this is a cycle change that we cannot stop. It's actually necessary. It's necessary, but it's going to be scary for a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to cling to the old because it's what they know. It's what they're comfortable with. But if they had, grown up and raised with electric cars, they would be terrified of gasoline cars. They'd be like, what the fuck? Excuse me? You know what I mean, guys? So I'm just saying, it's what we're used to. And so when things change, we feel like we're turned upside down. You know what I mean? But we have to realize that these challenges, we have the opportunity to face these challenges with optimism. You know what I mean? With community. Even without knowing what will come next, without knowing how things are going to play out, we can still face these challenges with grace, and we can face them with humility and kindness and humanity. We don't have to get into a frenzy of fear and lose our fucking shit because we don't have everything that we need, right? This is the other message. The other message that was coming through, I'm going to set this deck down because I'm not even going to pull any more cards because I've already said a lot. And I feel like Spirit's saying I could pull a couple more out of this deck. But guys, just a couple things. The only other message that I want to talk about too is what we need. What we actually need. And the way that things play out. So we may be sitting here going, if I can't make it to work, then I'm not going to get paid for the days that I miss. And if I don't get paid for the days that I miss, then I'm going to have less money than I was hoping for because of this gasoline thing, right? So that means I won't be able to pay my fucking bills, right? Or you could be like, okay, I haven't received benefits in a month. So the time that I could have spent this time looking for work, because they may or may not just deny me completely. So if they decide to cut me off, that means they spent a whole month waiting to hear back, right? Rather than looking for work because I thought that it was just a little hiccup in the system, or that they would review it in a couple weeks and be fine, right? But now it's like you realize, wow, I'm underwater. You know what I mean? So if I don't get if I don't pick some other option or way to make money, then I'm going to end up coming up short on my bills, and I'm not even going to have the time to make up the money. You know what I mean? So that might be the energy that you're sitting in for some of you guys. And there's lots of different situations, but it's just those two issues that I'm focusing on right now for this reading. And I might start doing this kind of talking more about issues thing, because I feel really called to do it, but I of course have a lot of hesitance and fear because of the way that people can be on the internet about like their opinions and shit. And so I typically try and keep it to a minimal, like talking about this sort of thing. But at the same time, guys, it's like, you know what, life's too short, and if I'm called to do something, Spirit wants me to talk about something, then I'm gonna do it, and you guys can love me or hate me for it. I really don't care. At the end of the day, I care about serving Spirit, and that's my fucking purpose. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, guys. And sometimes I might come off a little bit like aggressive or crass or whatever, guys, but it's just because I'm being blunt, and it's because I'm tired of sugarcoating myself for people to make people more comfortable so that I seem less scary or seem less whatever. And it's like, I'm not trying to be toxic with my negative energy either. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's like life is serious, and sometimes things are important to talk about, and I'm not going to shy away from it so I can please everybody, because I know I'm not going to please everybody anyway. Some of you people are just going to not like me. You know what I mean? Anyway, so with that being said, the message that I'm getting for these two issues, okay, the gas shortage and the unemployment benefits, is that, guys, you may be feeling that way right now in this moment, and I understand that, and it's totally valid, and this is your situation, okay? But Spirit is trying to remind you that you're incredibly abundant. Really. And life is incredibly abundant. We may be forced into these scarcity modes during times like this when things are scary and we're not really sure how we're gonna, you know, kind of survive, make our life work, right? Pay our bills, all that sort of thing. So we may be afraid in times like this, but Spirit is trying to tell you to remember that abundance does not lie outside of you. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's because you actually decide what it is that you are worth, and you decide what it is that comes to you to a certain extent. Some things, like I said, are completely out of your control, but it's how you decide to handle it. Because guess what? You could be stranded, right? Because you don't have any gas, right? And you're in this situation where you're stuck wherever it is you are. You can't get back home, whatever. Well, it's like, think of it as an extended vacation. You know? Think of it as a solid excuse to not be able to go back to whatever it is you were doing for a moment. You know what I mean? We don't know how long it's going to last, right? We don't have the information. We don't know. So these are the moments in life where that Spirit is like opening doors for you, believe it or not, because then the possibilities of what could happen start to actually expand. And that's the crazy part that I think we're all having a hard time with right now. Is that this is actually expanding possibilities. Because imagine, I can't make it to work, boss. I don't have any gas in my tank. There's no gas at any of the gas stations. I can't get a ride. I can't bike because I live out of town. Da-da-da-da-da, right? So, I mean, this is an opportunity where all of a sudden it's like, your boss is going to have to just understand, right? So now all of a sudden you've called out to work and you didn't expect to, and you do need the money, but don't worry about the money right now, okay? I'm telling you, the money's going to be here. It'll be fine. Things are going to work out. I'm telling you, somehow, some way, things will work out. Whether your landlord gives you an extension to pay your rent, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean, are able to call up your phone company and say, hey, you know what I mean? Please don't shut my phone off. I mean, I'm telling you guys, with COVID, there's a lot of companies that have made a lot of exceptions and a lot of, given a lot of extensions for bills and stuff, where this type of situation is very similar, and I think that people will also be very understanding and helpful in this situation. And I think that's what you don't see coming. I think that's what you're afraid of not having. But guys, this is actually an opportunity. I'm getting a ringing in my left ear. This is an opportunity where the other doors are going to open. So instead, you would have, say, been at work. Instead, you were at home, and you were surfing the internet, and you see something that lights your fire and excites you, and it takes you in a whole nother direction. You know what I mean? Or your friend calls you and says, hey, you know what I mean? how are you doing? Can I come over? You know what I mean? And you end up connecting with your friend who you haven't, connected with in a while, and it rekindles a friendship. These are just examples, guys. It's going to look different for all of you, but you're going to start to see what I'm saying here is that this is going to lead you in a different direction. Whatever is happening here is a necessary part of the cycle change. It's a bump in the road because we're going down a road. Thank God, right? We're moving forward. Things are happening. Things are changing. Even scary things are happening, but at least things are happening. At least you're not stagnant. You are abundant. You are expansive. And you're going to see these doors start opening for you. Maybe like I said, okay, say you're on benefits, your benefits end or they're severely impacted, something happens, you're just not receiving benefits anymore, okay? And I hope that doesn't happen to anybody like the way that it seems like it is happening for people, because it's just fucked up. I just feel like they could have done it in such a better way. It's just like, why not give people a 30-day heads up? Like, why didn't you hit people up a month ago and say, hey, I know we said you'd get your benefits till September, but actually we realize now that we're not going to be able to financially swing that. So we lied basically. And so we're going to cut off your benefits in 30 days. Good luck. Right? Then at least people would have been like, fuck, at least I have 30 days. It's like being kicked out of your house without, being given a 30-day notice. It's not okay. I mean, that's just how I feel. I'm like, if they need to cut them off, they need to cut them off. Fine. You know what I mean? Sure, whatever. People didn't expect to get all this help anyway. It's just been really helpful. But I'm just saying that if they do decide to cut it off, then it's like, why couldn't you just give people a heads up? Anyway. So this is kind of this being thrust underwater. You're upside down and underwater. You don't know what you're going to do. But imagine best case scenarios. Why not? If your mind can extrapolate the worst case scenarios possible and you start wigging out, why not imagine the best case scenarios and start moving towards those possibilities and be able to relax? Because you're going to be way more receptive, guys, if you relax. Okay, this is the Ten of Swords, and in this deck there's 2 cards for the Ten of Swords, and one of them says everything is fine. The other one just says Ten of Swords. So, guys, everything is fine, okay? Even if things end, even if you, guys, this is going to sound shitty, and I really hope this doesn't happen to any of you guys, but even if you lose your job because you can't make it to work because of the gas shortage, I really doubt your boss is going to do that to you. That would be so fucked up. But what I'm saying is that you could miss out on some money this week because of that, or your benefits really do end, okay? But I'm telling you, everything is fine. You can't see the way forward right now, okay? There's a real lack of clarity on what's going to happen, guys, but I'm telling you, this is going to lead you towards your happiness more than you know right now. And it doesn't make sense right now. I get it. Spirit works in very mysterious ways. But I just feel like you just need to sit in a state of receptivity and gratitude for what it is you do have, and relax and have faith in the universe that things are going to work out. That is the best thing that you can do when you're in a state of emergency, when you're in a state of survival. I'm not saying just sitting there and doing nothing, okay? I'm saying having a positive attitude will help you survive. I cannot tell you how many times I have been in dire straits, and the only thing that helped me get through it was spirit and having a positive attitude. Because I was like, you know what? I'm fucked right now. And I could be even more fucked if I just sat here and was in sorrow because of it. But instead I was like, damn, okay, well, might as well whistle while I work. Right? That's the kind of energy I'm feeling from this, is whistle while you work. Still move forward. Still work towards your goals. Still survive. Still do what you got to do. But y'all, try and have a positive attitude about it. Just fucking try, because you will be amazed how many doors that opens for you. Because like I said, you have to have faith that when one thing ends, when one door closes, 2 more open. It's always like that, guys. And for those of you who have experienced bumps in the road like this, or how many other people in the world experience bumps in the road like this and still survive and are happy. I don't know if you've ever been to Nepal, guys. I've never been to Nepal, but I've always wanted to go. So I know a lot about Nepalese culture, but one of the things that I do know about the people of Nepal is that they're incredibly, happy people. And the energy there is of just divinity, because these people live in a state of prayer, like mostly, okay? I'm not saying that everyone in Nepal is like this. I'm just saying culturally, generally, like they're very prayerful culture and they are very happy, okay? But they also, I think, I know that they have, they're an underdeveloped country or whatever. And I say that in quotes because I'm just like, okay, so they're not as colonized and they're not as, you know what I mean? They don't have as much westernized forms of, of whatever, whether we're talking about industrial production or whatever, right? They haven't been as westernized, right? So what I'm saying, guys, seriously, guys, you guys are going to hear more and more of who I am and how I feel about things because I'm just over it. And I've tried to fancy foot and dance around things, but I'm not going to do it anymore. So anyway, basically what I'm saying, guys, is try and have a positive attitude. Even though this is scary and you may not see the way forward clearly, just think to yourself, look, it's okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Just behave that way. And I'm telling you, it will help. It will help you to not stress. It will help because other people are going to see that attitude and be like, wow, like I like this person's attitude. I like the way that they're handling this situation. That's going to make people want to help you. It's going to make people more attracted to you even with this Empress card. It's going to make people feel like, wow, you're the type of person that I admire. Like you're the type of person that I want to be, or you're like people are going to be looking up to you. Like guys, I'm just getting a lot of really positive energy with this, is that difficulties and obstacles really reveal to us who we are truly, what we need to work on also. And it really can bring out the best or the worst in us. That's where we have a choice. That's where our decisions lie. Am I going to freak out and spin out and be all manic and crazy and upset? You know what I mean? Or am I going to chill out, do what I can, focus on what's in my immediacy, my immediate environment. I'm not going to, shed tears over this because it's going to be fine. This isn't the first bump in the road, and it sure as hell won't be the last. Right, guys? So this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to flex those muscles, right? When it comes to the everything's going to be okay muscles, we need to take these situations as opportunities for us to connect and come together as a community in order to, explore other options and possibilities, recognize we're not always going to know what's going on, or we're not always going to know the truth, or that there's always going to be somebody somewhere who has a little bit more power than we do in a situation, and they're going to make decisions that are going to impact us. So we just have to be patient and just wait to see how things play out. Don't freak out. This is just a test, right? That's the way I see it. This is just a false alarm test, okay, guys? This isn't the final battle royale, right? So just like chill out. We're going to make it through this battle, and we're going to keep going till this war is won. And for me, I see that as a war of what this world is going to look like, right? Are we going to be positive and work together and figure this shit out and work towards a better future? Or are we going to fucking get lost in our chaotic emotions and turn it into a fucking full-blown conflict? Like, how are we going to play this, guys? Okay? Because this is a humanity thing. This is a collective effort thing. Okay? This is why this is coming through, and I was inspired to sit down and talk about it. These are important issues, and we need to start looking at the way that we contribute to the energy. Okay, the way that we contribute to humanity, the way that we contribute to our future, right? Are we resisting change and resisting our future? Or are we willing to work with the changes and say, hey, maybe I don't like everything that's happening. Maybe I don't agree with everything. Maybe some of it freaks me out. Okay, that's fine. But it's the resisting with anger and frustration and fear that creates conflict. You know what I mean? Okay? We can be constructive about our disagreements here. We can do that. So I'm just saying, guys, stay positive. It'll be okay. If you're suffering or struggling or scared out there, really, I love you, and I wish that I could personally be there for you, but this is the platform for me right now to be able to try and encourage people the best that I can, while also empathizing with the fear, empathizing with the scarcity. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not sitting here being like, careful guys, you're going to ruin your own abundance. It's like, no, this is literally just real life. This is real people having real struggles, right? So anyway, I love you guys. Everything's going to be fine, really. Just try and make it through. Like, think of this in the way of weeks, okay? Think about it like this, right? It's what day is it? The 11th, okay? It's the 12th today. So, you know, that's just short of 2 weeks till the end of the month, okay? Don't stress. I'm just saying this because think of it like this, is that, you know, try and just make it through this week. And just be like, okay, I've got 2 weeks till the end of the month. I'm not saying to just not do nothing. I'm just saying, just relax and think of it like this. Okay, hopefully next week there will be gasoline again, okay? And then we're going to realize this is an infrastructural, like, energy distribution problem, okay? So we need to start moving towards electric, okay? Right? But we still rely on gasoline, so we still need that resource to come through, right? So let's just think about it like this, okay? I'm going to make it through the week. I'm not going to stress. I'm going to, you know what I mean, connect with my community and see if I need help or I'm having trouble financially, whatever's going on. We're going to get through this. It's going to be fine. Just think of it like that and just see how the week goes. See how things change for you. See if anything comes through that surprises you, or any opportunities present themselves, or something positive happens where that you connect with somebody, like things like that, guys. And you'll start to see, be like, wow, okay, my attitude really does affect my reality, because if I am relaxed and I'm chill and I'm happy and I'm just focusing on what needs to be done in my immediate environment, and I have faith that the money will come through, I have faith that things are going to work out, then it's like, watch how things start to work out and just see how you feel by the end of the week. See how things have gone, see if anything has changed, if the energy is different, you know what I mean? And then assess, because I just feel like, guys, right now it's important for us to try and relax and connect with people and have a good time and just not stress, because I'm telling you, it's going to really help. It's going to help a lot, because it's going to change your decisions. It's going to change the way you're moving, the way that you're even getting dressed every day. You know what I mean? It's going to change the energy, just your attitude. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave this reading here. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this wasn't too intense or triggering for anybody. Like I said, these are difficult subjects. And, you know, I have been very hesitant to like talk so kind of like blasé with you guys about these types of issues, because I know how I feel about it. And like I said, I'm looking to build a community of people who not just think like I do, because I think it's good to have discourse, it's good to have differences, but people who can encourage and uplift each other with these types of issues and situations. Not say I'm right, you're wrong, but say, hey, I have this perspective, you have this perspective. What does that mean in the context of things? When we actually compare them and look at them, then we can actually see crossover. We can see how things actually are very similar, or they're different for what reasons. And it can be a really positive thing. But I'm not necessarily interested in debating anybody in the comment section, like, at all. So I'm just saying this is really more for like, this is more for, I feel like, me to express myself openly, and then for people to kind of feel how they feel about it, and kind of like, you know what I mean, either gather in and kind of become a part of this community and like, and be supportive of me, you know, or if they don't, for it to just like, you know what I mean, get some wheels turning where that they're thinking about things that they don't agree with, things that are different from them, right, in a constructive way. So that's, I guess, what I'm trying to say, guys, is like I said, I'm not trying to debate anyone in the comments about anything regarding these topics. So if that's what you're feeling like you're interested in doing, or you're sitting there typing something out right now, just like, please spare us the conflict. I'm not trying to be rude, unless of course you're going to be constructive and positive and respectful, then in which case, you know what I mean, of course you're welcome to leave a comment, guys. But I'm just saying, you know, I hope you all understand my intentions. I hope you guys appreciated this reading, that it brought you guys like a little bit of, you know, faith and a little bit of relaxation in these issues, because like I said, I just feel like things are going to work out, guys. They always do. Just think back to other conflicts and situations that you've been in, or issues or things that were scary and unknown, and how they worked out for you. You know what I mean? And just, you know, and have faith. So anyway, I love you guys. Like I said, I'm going to leave this here. If you need a dream interpretation, I do offer that. So that info is in the description box below, as well as my donation links if you're interested in dropping me a donation. It means a lot, guys. It really is helpful. And I know it's tough times right now, so please only do so if you're able. You know, it really does mean a lot to me. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.